The shocking discovery. The night was cold, sharp, and strangely quiet. The forest of Varick Ridge, normally full of deep growls and rustling wings, felt empty, almost frozen in fear. A heavy fog covered the ground like a thick, white blanket. It floated between the tall black trees and made the air taste like metal. The moon, pale and broken-looking, shone weakly through the mist. Through this silence came a sound that did not belong. Footsteps. Heavy ones. Fast ones. Angry ones. A group of Varick, large dragon-like aliens, ran between the trees. Their long claws cut deep marks into the soil. Their golden eyes glowed through the fog as their wings dragged behind them. These were warrior-class Varick, known for their strength, for their fire breath, and for their cruelty toward outsiders. But tonight, they looked different. Their normal confidence was gone. Their faces were tense and filled with something rare for their species. Fear. Their hatchlings, 3 small baby Varick, had vanished from the nest earlier that evening. The nest guards swore something climbed into the nursery while everyone slept. A shadow. A creature. A thief. And whatever took them, it did not care if the hatchlings lived or died. Everyone expected the worst. Move faster, the clan leader growled, his voice deep enough to shake snow from the branches. He was huge, even for a Varick. His name was Rasker, the Iron-Scaled. He had never lost a battle, never shown weakness, and never known fear, until this night. Behind him, one of the scouts rushed forward. Leader, I found something. Rasker spun around sharply. Tracks. The scout nodded. His eyes were wide, confused, almost afraid to speak. Yes, but not from any beast. These are human footprints. Silence fell instantly. A human? The Varick hated humans, distrusted them, believed they were violent, selfish creatures who only brought danger. Stories said humans stole eggs, burned nests, and hunted Varick for trophies. Every elder told younglings, never trust a human. They only save themselves. If a human had their hatchlings, then the babies were already dead. Rasker let out a low, dangerous growl. Show me. The scout led them through the fog until they reached an old, half-collapsed cave. Strange warmth drifted out from inside, something soft in the air, almost comforting. But that comfort only made the warriors even more tense. Rasker sniffed the air, and his pupils narrowed. Milk and firewood. What human tricks are these? Another scout whispered. Do you think the human is still inside? Does it matter? Rasker growled. If he killed our babies, he dies slowly. If he kept them alive. He paused. He had no plan for that option. No Varick did. Slowly, the group stepped deeper into the cave. Their claws clicked against the stone. Their wings brushed the walls. The air grew warmer with every step. A faint sound echoed ahead, soft breathing. And something else, tiny squeaks. 3 Varick hatchlings made that sound. Rasker's heart twisted painfully inside his chest. Please, please let them be alive. A dim orange light appeared around the bend in the tunnel, firelight. Someone had built a campfire inside the cave. That alone was strange. But what waited beside the fire was far more shocking. The warriors froze. Rasker blinked hard. It felt impossible. There, lying against the warm rock, was a human. A young man, maybe in his 20s. His clothes were torn. His face had cuts. His hands were burned. He looked exhausted, like he had fought something all night. And on his chest, sleeping peacefully, were the 3 missing Varick hatchlings. All 3. Alive. Warm. Breathing. The human's arms were wrapped around them, holding them gently like they were something precious. The hatchling's small tails curled against him. One little one had its tiny claws hooked into his shirt, refusing to let go even in sleep. The warriors stood in complete shock. This scene made no sense. Humans were cruel, dangerous, selfish. That's what every Varick believed. But this human, this boy, had protected their children with his own body. The fire near him was burning low, like he had used every last piece of wood just to keep the babies warm. Rasker stepped forward slowly, his massive shadow falling over the human. "Wake him," one warrior whispered. But before they moved, one hatchling stirred and gave a tiny chirp, then gently nuzzled the human's chest and went right back to sleep. Every Varric froze again. The babies trusted him. The babies liked him. Rasker felt his heart twisting again, but this time in confusion. Why would Varric hatchlings trust a human more than their own kind? The human shifted slightly. His eyes opened halfway. Then they opened fully. He stared straight at the massive dragon warriors surrounding him. His face went pale. The air in the cave turned deadly still. Slowly, very slowly, he lifted his hands just a little, showing he had no weapon, no threat. I didn't hurt them," he whispered, voice weak but honest. "I found them in the storm. They were freezing. I just wanted to help." The Varric stared at him in stunned silence. No one expected this. Not tonight. Not ever. The forest outside remained silent, but inside that cave, something powerful had just begun. Something rare. Something impossible. A human who protected Varric hatchlings. A Varric clan who had no idea whether to kill him or thank him. And fate, watching silently from the shadows, smiled. Because this discovery was only the beginning. The human wakes up. For a long moment, no one moved. The humans sat frozen, every muscle tight. The Varric warriors stood like statues, their wings half open, ready to strike. The only sound in the cave was the soft breathing of the hatchlings sleeping on the human's chest. Rasker, the clan leader, stepped closer. The firelight reflected off his iron-gray scales, making him look even more dangerous. His voice rolled like thunder. "Human, explain why our children sleep on you." The human swallowed hard. "My name is Liam," he whispered. It was a small voice against the roaring power of the Varric. "I didn't take them. I found them." They were alone, shaking, almost frozen. One of the warriors hissed. "Humans lie as easily as they breathe." But Rasker lifted a claw to silence him. His golden eyes stayed locked on Liam. Liam didn't dare move. Even breathing felt risky. But the tiny hatchling on his shoulder shifted and let out a soft chirp. Then, without opening its eyes, it placed its head closer against his neck, like he was a safe place. The warriors stared in disbelief. Liam spoke again, his voice slightly stronger. "I heard their cries during the storm. I followed the sound and found them in the snow. Something scared them away from your nest." Rasker's eyes narrowed. "What?" Liam shook his head. "I don't know, but it wasn't human. It was something big." A cold whisper crept through the cave. Something big. Something able to sneak past Varric warriors. Something strong enough to drag hatchlings away. The fear twisted every heart in the cave. Rasker took another step forward. The ground trembled under his weight. "You dare say another predator took them?" Liam nodded slowly. "Yes." He lifted his arm, revealing a long bleeding cut across his skin. "I fought it. I tried to scare it off. That's how I got this." The warriors leaned forward, sniffing the wound. The scent on the cut was strange. Not human. Not Varric. Not anything they knew. Rasker's scales lifted slightly, a sign of danger. "You fought the creature alone?" he asked. Liam gave a small, tired laugh. "Well, I didn't want to die. Or let them die." The words carried something the Varric were not used to hearing from humans. Honesty. Fear. Courage. And something else, sacrifice. Rasker's stare grew deeper, trying to read Liam's soul. The human met that stare, without looking away. For the first time, doubt entered the leader's mind. Could this human be telling the truth? But other warriors did not care for doubt. One stepped forward, tail snapping in anger. "He must be the thief. He hides here with our babies. Kill him and take them." As he lunged forward, the hatchlings suddenly woke, startled by the shout. All three began squeaking and crying loudly, gripping Liam's shirt, claws digging into him. One even crawled up to his neck, shaking in fear. Every Varric froze again. The babies were terrified of their own warrior. But they pushed themselves closer to the human. Rasker felt something shift inside him, something he had not felt in years, confusion mixed with awe. No Varrock hatchling trusted outsiders. Not even adult Varrock from other clans. But these three felt safe with a human. Enough, Rasker growled. His voice cracked through the cave like lightning. The hatchlings choose him. And hatchlings do not choose wrong. The angry warrior growled but stepped back. Rasker stared at Liam again. You protected them from the cold. You kept them alive. But answer me this, human. His golden eyes glowed brighter. Why? Liam lowered his eyes. For a moment he said nothing. Then he whispered. Because I lost my little sister to a monster like that. I couldn't watch more children die. The Varrock fell silent. Not because of sympathy, but because they recognized the look in Liam's eyes, the look of someone haunted by old pain. Rasker inhaled deeply. Human, if you wanted to kill them, you could have left them in the snow. You could have let the storm take them. Liam nodded slightly. I didn't want that. The leader studied him again. The human looked small, weak, and wounded, but there was a strange strength in him. A fire that did not need scales or claws. Still, trust did not come easy. You will come with us, Rasker said finally. You will return the hatchlings. And if your words fail, I will end you myself. Liam did not argue. Okay, he said quietly. He slowly stood up, careful not to wake the babies again. Two were clinging to his chest. One sat on his shoulder, tiny wings flapping weakly. The Varrock warriors parted, forming a path through the cave. But right as Liam stepped forward, a loud, deep sound shook the earth outside. A roar. A roar that did not belong to any Varrock. It came again, closer, hungrier, full of rage. The fire flickered. Dust fell from the cave ceiling. Every warrior snapped into battle stance. Rasker's wings opened wide. That creature, it followed him. Liam's breath caught in his throat. He knew that sound. He had heard it last night in the storm. It was the same beast that attacked the hatchlings. And now it was coming for all of them. The Varrock warriors rushed outside. Rasker turned his head and growled. Human, stay close. If you die now, I get no answers. But Liam did not move. His eyes were fixed on the cave entrance, because deep in the shadows outside, he saw two glowing red eyes watching him. The creature had returned. And this time it was not alone. A strange bond. The forest outside the cave shivered with danger. The roar still echoed between the trees, deep, rumbling, almost ancient. But the worst part wasn't the sound. It was the silence that followed. A silence, so heavy it felt like the forest itself was holding its breath. Liam tightened his grip on the hatchling clinging to his shoulder. The little creature pressed its head against his neck, trembling. Its tiny heartbeat thumped fast against his skin. Rasker stepped forward, blocking the cave entrance with his massive body, his wings half raised. Warriors, form the shield line, he roared. The Varrock responded instantly. They circled the entrance, claws out, scales flaring with heat. Their breath steamed in the cold air as they prepared to attack whatever was coming. But nothing moved. Nothing breathed. Nothing stepped out of the darkness. That was the first warning. Something intelligent was hiding out there. Rasker sniffed the air and growled. This is wrong. The beast came to our cave, but it does not attack. Why? Liam swallowed hard. He knew why. It's watching us, he whispered. It watched me too before it attacked last night. Rasker turned sharply. You faced it directly? Liam nodded. Every Varrock eyes snapped toward him. But the hatchlings clinging to him, shaking, chirping, seemed to speak louder than any words. Rasker lowered his head, looking closely at the babies. Their scales were warm. Their tiny wings were healthy. Their breathing calm. And most strange of all, when Liam spoke, the hatchlings reacted. They curled closer to him, as if his voice comforted them. The Varrock warriors exchanged confused glances. Hatchlings never bonded to outsiders. Never. Something unnatural was happening. Rasker motioned Liam forward. Step outside. Slowly. Liam hesitated. You want me to walk into the dark with that out there? The leader growled. I want to see how the beast reacts to you. It already knows your scent. Liam took a deep breath. He didn't like this plan, but he knew he had no real choice. If he refused, Rasker would drag him anyway. So he stepped forward. The hatchlings whined, clutching him tighter, and one spread its tiny wings over his chest like it was trying to protect him. The warriors stared. A hatchling protecting a human? That had never happened in all Varric history. Liam whispered, It's okay, stay calm. The moment he stepped out of the cave mouth, a low growl rose from the forest. Red eyes glowed between the trees, watching him, following his movement exactly. Rasker hissed. It wants him. Liam's stomach dropped. Yeah, I figured that out. The eyes moved, smooth, silent, and fast. Whatever owned them slipped between the shadows like a snake in water. Then it stopped. A huge shape stood there. Tall, bent, with long claws that almost brushed the snow. Its breath steamed the air, with a sickly sweet smell. But the strangest part? It did not look at the warriors. Its focus was on Liam and the hatchlings. Rasker's tail thrashed against the ground. This creature hunts hatchlings. It wants ours. It wants you gone so they are easy prey. Liam felt his voice shake. That's why I took them into the cave. I wasn't trying to hide them from you. I was hiding them from that. The warriors tensed. Rasker's mind raced. If the human truly protected the babies, if the beast truly followed him, then Liam was not the problem. He was the bait. And the Varric were the real target. Suddenly the creature took a step forward. Snow cracked under its weight. The Varric shield wall tightened. Claws out. Wings raised. But the beast only stared at Liam. The hatchlings began to cry again. Soft, scared, desperate. Rasker snarled. It reacts to their fear. Liam whispered, I can calm them. The warriors looked at him as if he had spoken madness. But he did it anyway. He gently stroked the hatchling on his shoulder. Then he made a soft humming sound, slow, warm, strange, but calming. The hatchlings quieted instantly. Their shaking stopped. Their tiny bodies relaxed. The warriors were stunned. Rasker's eyes widened. That sound. How do you know that sound? Liam blinked. What sound? That humming. It is the sound Varric mothers use to soothe newborns. No human could know this. Liam frowned. I didn't know it was a Varric thing. It's just something my mother used when my sister was scared. Something strange passed between the Varric then. Something unspoken. Respect. Fear. Confusion. Hope. A bond that should not exist was forming right in front of them. The creature suddenly roared. So loud the trees shook. It charged. Rasker leapt forward, fire bursting from his jaws. The warriors attacked from both sides. Liam backed into the cave, shielding the hatchlings with his body. The battle exploded outside. Snow flew in waves. Fire lit the trees. The creature tore through roots and rocks, moving faster than anything that size should move. Rasker roared, Human, keep them safe. Liam stared in shock. The leader of the Varric trusted him? The cave trembled from the violence outside. Sparks flew from Rasker's flame. Claws clashed. Bones cracked. But then, the creature did something unexpected. It turned away from the warriors. It lunged toward the cave, toward Liam, straight toward the hatchlings. Liam stood frozen. The beast's red eyes locked on him. And something inside those eyes told him one terrible truth. This monster wasn't hunting food. It was hunting them. Hunting Varric hatchlings. And now hunting the human who protected them. The real enemy appears. The creature charged the cave like a storm made of teeth and shadow. Snow blasted upward with every step. Trees snapped under its weight. Its roar shook the sky. Liam felt its power like a punch inside his chest. Raw, wild, ancient. The Varric warriors tried to stop it. Rasker leaped forward first, claws glowing red from heat. His wings snapped open, creating a shockwave in the snow. He slammed into the creature's side, knocking it off course for a moment. But only a moment. The creature twisted its long neck and threw Rasker aside like he was nothing. Warriors shouted. Fire burst from their jaws. Their flames lit up the wolves of fog, yet the beast simply walked through it, as if the fire only made it angrier. Liam knew that thing. He knew that rage. He had felt it last night when it ripped through the forest to reach the hatchlings. The beast didn't want food. It didn't want territory. It wanted them. And now it wanted him dead for getting in the way. Liam backed deeper into the cave, but the hatchlings whimpered louder. They sensed the danger approaching. One pushed its tiny head under Liam's chin, shivering. "Sure, I've got you," Liam whispered, even though he was the one shaking. Outside, the Varrock fought fiercely. A warrior jumped onto the creature's back, claws sinking deep into its spine. The beast spun and smashed him into a tree so hard the trunk split in half. Another warrior shot fire at its eyes, but the flames had no effect. The creature's thick hide absorbed everything. Rasker roared orders. "Circle it. Do not face it alone. Watch its tail." But the creature moved faster than any of them expected. Its long tail whipped around, knocking 3 warriors off their feet. It lunged again toward the cave, toward Liam. Rasker blocked the entrance, just in time. "Stay back, human." But Liam wasn't the one the creature wanted. It wanted the hatchlings. The beast threw its entire body at Rasker. The impact shook the mountain. The ground cracked. The cave walls trembled, and dust rained from the ceiling. Liam stumbled backward, nearly falling over the fire pit. The hatchlings squeaked again, terrified. He forced himself to stand. He couldn't let them be taken. Not again. Not by that thing. Rasker fought like a beast of legend. His flames burned so hot they melted the snow into steam. He tore into the creature's flesh with claws sharp enough to cut stone. But the creature didn't slow down. Its red eyes glowed brighter, filled with rage or hunger. Liam couldn't tell. Rasker snarled. "Human. What did it want last night? What did it try to do?" Liam swallowed. His voice cracked. It didn't try to kill them at first. Rasker's head snapped toward him. "What?" "It didn't eat them," Liam said, shaking. "It grabbed them gently, like it was trying to carry them away." The warriors stared in horror. Rasker growled low. "It was stealing them." Liam nodded. "Yes. And when I tried to stop it, it lost control." Rasker roared with fury, not at Liam, but at the creature. "You dare touch our children?" He attacked again, fire exploding from his jaws. But while Rasker fought outside, Liam felt something else inside the cave. A cold wind. A slow vibration. A faint scratching sound from deeper inside the tunnels. He spun around sharply. No, there's more than one. The scratching grew louder. Closer. The cave wasn't empty. The beast outside wasn't alone. Liam's heart nearly stopped. He whispered, "Rasker, there's another one inside." Rasker's eyes widened. "Human, go." Liam didn't need to be told twice. He rushed deeper into the cave with the hatchlings pressed to his chest. But the second creature crawled from the darkness, smaller than the one outside, but faster. Its body twisted like a shadow made of bones. Its red eyes locked onto the babies instantly. Liam backed away. He had no weapon, no fire, no claws, just his body and pure instinct. The second creature lunged, and Liam dove to the ground, rolling across the cave floor. It smashed into the wall, stone cracking under its weight. Dust filled the air. Liam scrambled up, panting. He grabbed a burning stick from the fire pit and held it like a sword. The creature hissed at the fire's glow. So it feared flame? Not the heat, but the light. Deeper understanding hit Liam like lightning. These things hunt in darkness. They can't see well in firelight. The creature lunged again. Liam swung the burning stick as hard as he could. Sparks flew. Flames licked the creature's face. It screeched and backed away. Outside, the larger creature also reacted to the fire burst, flinching. Rasker noticed instantly. "They fear the light," he roared. "Warriors, ignite the snow." Varrock fire scorched the ground, creating a blazing circle. Flames lit the forest bright as daylight. Both creatures shrieked in panic, trying to shield their eyes. But they didn't run. They were desperate, hungry, driven by something deeper. Liam understood it at last. They weren't hunting the hatchlings, he whispered. They were taking them. For something. For someone. Rasker froze. For who? Liam looked at the creatures and whispered the truth neither of them wanted to hear. These things aren't predators. They're gatherers. The forest fell silent. The creatures hissed. And from the farthest shadows, another roar echoed. Deeper. Older. Much, much bigger. Not two monsters. Not three. A whole nest. And they were coming. Human courage, Varric shock. The third roar rolled through the forest like thunder ripping the sky apart. It wasn't just louder. It was deeper, older, and filled with an intelligence that froze the blood. Liam held the hatchlings tight. Even the fire seemed to shrink away from that sound. Rasker's wings stiffened. That is no gatherer. Liam's voice was barely a whisper. Then what is it? Rasker didn't answer. Because the forest answered for him. The trees bent. Snow shook off their branches. Something massive moved beyond the firelight. Too big to see clearly, too quiet for its size, and too purposeful to be mindless. The ground trembled beneath their feet. The Varric warriors formed a circle around their leader. Their claws glowed red-hot. Their jaws dripped flame. But even they hesitated. This was not a hunt. This was war. Inside the cave, the smaller gatherer snarled again and tried to push past the flames Liam had raised. Its long claws scraped against stone, sending cracks across the walls. Liam held the burning stick tighter. The hatchlings clung to him, tiny hearts beating fast. He wasn't a fighter. He wasn't a hero. He was just a human trying to survive. But right now, he was the only thing standing between these babies and death. The gatherer lunged. Liam dodged. Barely. He swung the burning stick again. This time he hit its face with a burst of sparks. The creature shrieked and backed into the shadows. But it didn't run. It was waiting for the bigger beast to arrive. Outside, the large gatherer screeched toward the forest edge and slammed into Rasker with full force. The leader hit the ground hard, rolling through the fire ring, wings scraping across the snow. Leader, the warriors roared. Rasker roared back, flames bursting from his throat as he clawed upward. But the creature pushed him deeper into the snow, its strength frightening, unnatural. Liam's eyes darted from the cave entrance to the shadows inside. Both directions held death. He was trapped between two monsters, one outside, one inside, and more coming. The hatchlings squeaked again, terrified. And then something clicked inside Liam's mind. They didn't want to kill them earlier, Liam whispered. They wanted to take them. He looked at the little Varric in his arms, so small, so helpless. They need hatchlings alive. The gatherer hissed in agreement. Its body moved slightly, as if reacting to his words. Liam froze. It understood. Rasker had been right. This creature wasn't mindless. It had intent, purpose, a goal. Liam lifted the stick higher. You're collecting them. For who? For what? The creature raised its head. Its red eyes glowed brighter. Then it slowly looked toward the cave wall, toward a deep crack in the stone. A tunnel. Liam felt cold fear in his spine. That tunnel leads somewhere. The gatherer hissed again, lower, softer, almost like communication. Liam whispered, They're taking hatchlings underground. Rasker's voice thundered from outside. Human. Out. Now. Liam didn't move. He couldn't. The beast outside roared again, a massive, bone-shaking roar that cracked icicles from the cave's ceiling. Rasker faced the giant creature alone now. His warriors fought the second gatherer, but they were being pushed back step by step. The big monster slammed its tail into the ground, opening a crater in the snow. Rasker dodged at the last second, flames erupting from his jaws. But the monster didn't flinch. It grabbed Rasker by the wing and lifted him off the ground. Leader, shouted the warriors. Liam could hear bones crack. He stepped forward instinctively. He didn't think. He didn't plan. He just moved. Hey, he shouted, surprising even himself. Hey, over here. The huge creature's head twisted sharply. Its red eyes locked onto Liam. Rasker gasped. Human? No! But Liam stood there like a fool with a burning stick, shaking knees, and 3 baby dragons clinging to his chest. I'm the one you chased last night. Liam yelled. You want me? Come get me. He wasn't brave. He was desperate. He had no idea why he did that. Maybe he hoped the beast would drop Rasker, maybe to save the babies, maybe because death felt less scary than losing them. But the creature responded. It dropped Rasker and charged Liam. The cave shook. Snow exploded. Warriors roared warnings. Liam stumbled backward, the beast coming fast, claws ripping through the earth like knives. But then, a thunderclap of fire burst from Rasker's jaws. The fire blast hit the monster from the side, making it skid, tearing its skin and sending it crashing into trees. Rasker landed beside Liam, panting, bleeding, but alive. He glared at Liam with blazing eyes. You are either the bravest human alive, or the stupidest. Liam tried to speak, but could only gasp. Rasker stepped in front of him, shielding him and the hatchlings with his massive wings. For the first time ever, a Varric leader protected a human. The smaller gatherer lunged inside the cave again, this time aiming for the hatchlings instead of Liam. Liam reacted without thinking. He grabbed the fire pit stone, still glowing hot, and smashed it across the creature's jaw. The beast shrieked, falling back. The Varric warriors who saw this froze in disbelief. A human struck a gatherer? With stone? To protect Varric hatchlings? Impossible. Unheard of. Rasker turned his head slowly. His voice was soft, almost stunned. You fought it to save our children. Liam nodded shakily. I'm not letting anything take them, not while I'm breathing. Rasker stared at him for a long moment. Then he said something no Varric leader had ever said. Then you are one of us. But the moment was short, because the forest suddenly went silent again, and the giant creature rose from the snow. Not injured, not scared. Its red eyes glowed brighter than before. Behind it, silhouettes appeared. 2, 3, 4. A whole pack. The gatherers had arrived. Not to fight, but to collect. A nest. A hive. A swarm. Rasker's wings lowered. Liam tightened his arms around the babies. And for the first time since the night began, all hope seemed to break. Truth revealed. Snow fell in slow, silent flakes, almost peaceful. But nothing was peaceful. Not when the forest shook with the growls of the gatherer pack. Not when the air tasted of fear. Not when Liam stood holding 3 tiny hatchlings while a swarm of monsters closed in. Rasker raised his wings to full height. The firelight painted his iron-gray scales gold. He looked like a warrior king ready to face death. But even he whispered in disbelief. There are too many. The gatherers stepped through the trees, slow, confident, careful. Not chaotically. Not wild. This was organized. A pack that hunted with purpose. Liam's heart thumped painfully. He knew this feeling. He had felt it once before, when his younger sister was taken. He clutched the hatchlings closer. Rasker did not miss the look in Liam's eyes. What are these creatures? He said softly. Why take children? Liam's voice cracked. They took human children too. Rasker's pupils widened. Liam took a shaky breath. When I was 10, they came to our village. Took 3 kids from the sleeping tents. He swallowed hard. One of them was my sister. The Varric warriors froze. Liam continued, voice trembling. We tried to chase them. My father, villagers, hunters, but they moved fast. Too fast. We lost their trail. He stared at the glowing red eyes surrounding them. And now I finally understand where they went. Rasker's voice dropped to a whisper. Where? Liam looked at the cave floor. The crack. The hidden tunnel. Their nest is underground. The cave seemed to exhale a cold wind, as if the tunnels themselves whispered the truth. Outside, the lead gatherer, the massive one, stepped forward. Its movement was slow, almost gentle, and its eyes were locked on the hatchlings. Rasker roared, You will not touch them. But the gatherer did not react to rage. Did not flinch from flame. It raised its head and made a soft clicking sound. Not a roar. Not a threat. Communication. Liam felt his blood run cold. They're not hunting us. They're not even hunting food. He looked at Rasker. They came for the babies because they need them alive. For what purpose? Rasker barked. The giant gatherer stepped backward. Slow. Inviting. Signaling. It wanted Liam and the hatchlings to follow. No one moved. The gatherer clicked again. Insistent now. And then it did something none of them expected. It turned slightly and revealed its side, where scars ran deep. Long marks. Painful wounds. Fresh. And, on its back, Rasker inhaled sharply. The warriors whispered in shock, because attached to the creature's back, clinging with tiny claws, were baby gatherers. Infants. Weak. Shaking. Sick-looking. Liam's breath caught. They're dying. The entire pack stood silent, as if waiting for the Varrock to understand. And then Liam realized the terrible truth. They're not kidnappers, he whispered. They're parents. Rasker turned toward him sharply. What are you saying? Liam pointed at the dying gather babies. They need strong, healthy babies to feed their nest, not to eat. His voice trembled. For blood transfer. Or life energy. I don't know the science, but they need newborn energy to keep their young alive. The Varrock stared at Liam, horrified. The massive gatherer lowered its head. Its eyes dimmed. A sign of desperation. Liam whispered, they took human children for the same reason. And now, Varrock hatchlings. Rasker's voice rumbled low and dangerous. They steal our children to save their own? Liam nodded. The leader's anger cracked the ground beneath his claws. We all suffer, but we do not steal young. The gatherer leader stepped forward, towering over him, the ground trembling under its weight. Rasker roared in its face, flames bursting out. But then the massive creature did something shocking. It lowered itself. Completely. Kneeling. Not in attack. In surrender. Even the flames of the Varrock flickered in confusion. The pack leader slid its massive paw forward. Gently. It pushed a small, carved stone toward them. Rasker frowned. What is that? Liam knelt beside it. It was a marking stone, carved with two symbols. A gatherer egg. A Varrock egg. Side by side. Not enemies. A message. These creatures were not raiders. Not mindless beasts. They were dying parents begging for help. Rasker's growl quieted. His wings lowered slowly. The pack leader made another soft clicking sound, weaker this time. The dying babies on its back cried softly. Liam felt something break inside him. He remembered the night his sister was taken. How his mother screamed. How his father ran blindly into the forest. How they never found her. He couldn't let another child, human or Varrock, disappear into these tunnels. He placed a hand gently on the giant creature's claw. Rasker and the warriors stared in shock. Liam whispered, You could have killed me last night. You could have taken the hatchlings easily today. But you carried them. You waited. You brought the stone. He swallowed. You're asking for help. Rasker's breath shook. He looked from Liam to the dying gatherer infants to the stone. Then something impossible happened. A hatchling, the smallest one, reached out its tiny claw and touched the stone too. Liam gasped. Rasker's eyes widened. And deep in the forest, the pack of gatherers all lowered their heads. Submission. Trust. Desperation. Rasker finally spoke, voice thick, heavy, ancient. Human, what do you think they want from us? Liam looked into the glowing red eyes of the pack leader, and he whispered the truth that made every warrior step back in fear. They want us to follow them. Into the tunnels. The earth trembled. The tunnel pulsed with faint red light. Something deeper. Something older. Something alive. And Rasker realized one terrifying fact. Whatever lived below was bigger than the gatherers. Bigger than the Varrock. A force that needed newborn life. And now, Liam and the hatchlings were its target. A new protector. The forest was silent again. Dead silent. But this silence was different. Not fear, not danger, expectation. Every gatherer head bowed toward the cave tunnel, waiting, pleading, hoping. Rasker stepped beside Liam, wings half open in caution. The firelight flickered across his iron scales, highlighting every scar from the battle. He stared into the darkness of the tunnel. "Human," he growled softly, "if we follow them, none of us may return." Liam took a shaky breath. "I know." The hatchlings curled closer to Liam's chest, sensing his fear. Yet their bodies were calm, trusting him more than their own clan. Their tiny claws held onto his shirt like he was the only safety in the world. A Varrock warrior whispered behind Rasker, "Leader, we should not follow the beasts below. Those tunnels are cursed. Even the earth hunters avoid them." Another hissed, "It is a trap. They want our hatchlings." Rasker lifted his claw, silencing them all. He turned to the human. "You understand these creatures in ways we do not. You fought for our children. You risked your life without duty, without promise, without reward." Liam swallowed. "I just couldn't lose them too." Rasker's eyes softened in a way Liam had never seen from the dragon leader. "You carry the heart of a Varrock," Rasker said. "And tonight you lead us." The warriors gasped. A Varrock leader had never given command to a human. But Liam didn't feel proud. He felt terrified, because now he had to guide them into darkness. The pack leader, the giant gatherer, turned toward the tunnel and emitted a weak, low click. "Follow." Liam nodded once, then stepped forward. The gatherers parted, opening a path. The smaller one, the one Liam fought in the cave, bowed its head slightly as he passed. Rasker walked beside Liam. The warriors followed in a tight formation. The cave tunnel pulsed with faint red light, like veins under skin. The deeper they went, the warmer the air became. Rasker sniffed the air. Life energy. Strong and wrong. Liam's voice was barely a whisper. "Something is feeding down here." The tunnel widened into a massive underground cavern. And there, hanging from the ceiling like a giant cocoon, was a monstrous glowing sac. Pulsing. Breathing. Alive. Inside the translucent walls, shadows moved. Rasker's voice shook. "Is that a brood egg?" Liam felt his stomach twist. A brood egg. The heart of a hive. The gatherers had been collecting life for this. A creature so large its body stretched from floor to ceiling. A queen. The queen of the gatherers. The reason for everything. Rasker snarled, stepping back. "This thing demands our children to survive." Liam placed a hand on the hatchlings. "They're not feeding it the children. Not directly. Look, below the giant sack lay small stone platforms, each glowing. On each platform sat a human child or Varrock hatchling, alive, sleeping deeply, unharmed, surrounded by a soft red mist that drifted upward toward the queen's cocoon." Liam's breath caught. "My sister, she could be here." Rasker hissed through his teeth. "They drain life but do not kill. They leave enough to live. Enough to grow." Liam felt fire burning in his chest. "They're farming children." The gatherer parents stepped in front of the platforms, bowing their heads, not toward the queen but toward Liam and Rasker. Liam's eyes widened. "They're asking us to save their queen." Rasker reeled in shock. "What? Why would we help something that steals our young?" But Liam understood. "It's dying," he said softly. "The queen is dying. That's why they took children. They weren't attacking villages. They weren't hunting clans." He touched the glowing cocoon gently. It was an act of survival. Rasker stepped close, his voice a deep whisper. "If the queen dies, will the gatherers stop taking children?" Liam nodded. "I think so." The pack leader approached, lowering its giant head until it touched Liam's shoulder. Its eyes glowed with sorrow, hope, and desperation. A parent's eyes. And suddenly, Liam understood the real darkness here. Not evil, but fear. The gatherers stole to save their queen. The same way Varrock would burn a world. To save a single hatchling. They were not monsters. They were desperate. Liam looked up at Rasker. "We can save them. And then this ends. No more stolen children." No more fear. Raskar's wings lowered. Majestic. Heavy. Emotional. Liam, he said quietly, tell me what to do. Liam stepped to the platforms. He placed his hand on one Varrock hatchling. Its heartbeat was slow but steady. He leaned closer. The red mist moved toward him, drawn to his warmth, his life. He whispered, it responds to me. Raskar's voice deepened. It responds to your courage. The queen's cocoon pulsed brighter.
Slow. Weak.
The gatherer pack suddenly knelt, all of them, pounding their heads to the ground in surrender and hope. The queen's life flickered. The cavern trembled. Liam made his choice. He placed his palm on the queen's cocoon. A red surge shot through him, cold, hot, electric, pulling life energy from everything around except the children. Raskar roared. Liam, stop. But Liam grit his teeth. I can handle it. Flashes of other victims passed through his mind. Human children, Varrock hatchlings, dozens of lives trapped in the queen's struggle for survival. Liam gave more, channeling his life strength toward the queen. Not enough to kill him, but enough to save her. The cocoon glowed brighter, brighter, until finally, with a shattering crack, the cocoon burst open. A massive, elegant creature emerged, weak but alive. The gatherer queen. She lifted her head and released a soft, melodic cry. The entire pack responded with a harmonized call that echoed across the cavern. Then, the queen touched her head to Liam's hand. A gesture older than any Varrock tradition. Life debt. She owed him everything. Liam collapsed to his knees, exhausted. Raskar rushed forward and caught him with one wing. You gave your life so others could live. Liam smiled weakly. Isn't that what protectors do? Raskar bowed his head. To us, you are now Varrock. The warriors roared. The gatherers roared. Even the underground echoed with it. For the first time in history, two species became allies because of one human. And, as they returned to the surface, the hatchlings never let go of Liam. Because now, he wasn't a stranger. Not a prisoner. Not a visitor. He was their guardian. Their protector, their family, and somewhere in the tunnels, a faint human voice called out. A girl's voice. Liam? He froze. His heart dropped. His sister.
Alive.
The true story was only beginning.